Welcome to Team Tiggio Court TV, where we upload videos every single day. So make sure you subscribe to our channel, like our videos, and share our videos.
So Mr. Sheets is charged in 153 with especially aggravated stalking and 154 with especially aggravated stalking, and then the motion to suppress is seeking to suppress the results of a warrantless search and seizure. And I've read through your motion, so I understand the argument that you're making. Is the state ready? All right. Because it's a warrantless search, then the burden is on the state. So if you want to make an opening statement, I'll be glad to hear your opening statement.
The state does not necessarily concede that the information in which was gathered, the location ping from a cell phone tower, is necessarily has the expectation of privacy. It's held by a third party, as well as it is a signal that's sent out into the public. But we will go ahead and put on proof to show that even if it were, which we don't concede, we do have a situation in which this would fall into an exception for a search warrant.
All right. Mr. Talbot, do you want to make any opening statement?
Your Honor, in the U.S. Supreme Court decision Carpenter versus United States, it was held that an individual maintains a legitimate expectation of privacy in the record of their physical movements as captured through cell site location information, which is what is ultimately at issue here, which law enforcement was able to, which law enforcement obtained without a warrant. And so it is among the interests of the defendant that are protected by the Fourth Amendment. We do think the law of the Fourth Amendment does apply here. And then it remains a question whether the state will be able to show some exception to the warrant requirement.
All right. State will put on your proof. Call your first witness.
I call Officer Jessica Shope.
Step around and be placed under oath, please.
Given this case be the truth, the whole truth. I swear. Oh, Lord, I do it every time.
Officer, can you state your name for the record?
Jessica Shote,
And where are you employed?
the City of Dixon Police Department.
Were you employed in that capacity in August of 2025?
Yes, ma'am.
And what about 2024, which
Yes,
is what
ma'am.
we're going back to? Okay. So you were employed there in August of 2024. So I'm going to ask some questions that are going to be pertaining to a search warrant, to a cell phone ping that you requested.
Yes, ma'am.
I'm going to start with August 1st of 2024. Did you speak to Miss Christina Mateo, which I may be saying her name incorrectly, here in Dixon County on August 1st of 2024?
Yes, ma'am.
What did you speak to her regarding?
She had received a phone call
Officer, try to
from,
pull that microphone base toward you. You can pull, there you go. It'll slide toward you. So there you go.
she had received a phone call from Danny Sheets.
Okay. And what is the significance of Danny Sheets to this Miss Mateo? I'm saying
Mateo. That's okay. So the significance is he had already been charged and went to court on stalking her previously.
Okay. And was he on probation for that?
He was.
And you knew he was on probation for that?
Yes, ma'am.
You were the officer that was involved with that charge?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Now, when you spoke to her on August 1st, were there any charges that were filed pursuant to that?
Yes, ma'am.
And when were those filed?
I believe the charge was filed the next day on August 2nd because I was actually out of town on vacation, so I wasn't able to do it right then, but Detective Katrina Pulley was the one that went and got the warrant.
When did you confirm that there was an active warrant for Mr. Sheets?
I believe it was the 2nd.
Okay. And the ping in particular, we're going to start talking about.
Yes, ma'am.
Do you remember the date of that?
August 5th.
So what happened on August 5th to start this path to where we requested the location be pinged?
He called her again.
Okay. Who is he?
Danny Sheets.
Danny Sheets called whom again?
Christina Matteo.
Okay. And at this time, he had an active warrant?
Yes.
And had he been served with that warrant?
No, ma'am.
All right. And he was actively on probation at that time?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. When he called you, when you understood that he had called Miss Matteo on August 5th, what did you do next?
I contacted the DA, spoke to the DA about it, and then did a cell phone ping.
Okay. So let's go back a couple steps.
Okay.
Where, to your knowledge, did you know where Mr. Sheets was?
I didn't know exactly where he was, no.
Does Mr. Sheets know where Miss Matteo lives?
He does.
Has he ever showed up at her house before?
He has.
Okay. Now, the charges from the active warrant that was out,
Yes, ma'am.
what state did that kind of begin with?
In Florida,
And why did you not think he was in Florida anymore?
because his vehicle was no longer where it was when he had broken down in Florida.
And who did you speak to confirm that?
I can't recall for sure if I spoke to the officer or if I called dispatch and sent another officer out there. I don't recall, but one of the officers in that jurisdiction in Florida.
Okay. Were there any statements that you became aware of that made you concerned regarding Miss Matteo that Mr. Sheets had made?
Yes. During the August 1st incident, I think it was August 1st or August 2nd, he had made statements that he was looking for a house in Florida for him and Miss Matteo. He calls her Williams, which is her maiden name. He had made statements to law enforcement that they would be getting married in Nashville the next day.
And when you spoke to Miss Matteo, did she receive any text messages from Mr. Sheets?
She did.
Were you privy to the information that was in those text messages?
Yes, ma'am. She sent them to me.
All right. Did those indicate that he had an intention to have contact with her?
Yes, ma'am.
How was that relayed to Miss Matteo?
He asked her if she was going to pick him up at the Circle K.
Okay. So in your training and experience, you believe that he was on his way to make contact with her?
Yes,
Did that cause you any alarm?
it did.
And he had the active warrant that was already taken out.
Yes, ma'am.
He had actively called her again on August 5th.
Yes, ma'am.
So with your knowledge, that was what gave you alarm.
It was due to the first case after being told by law enforcement and Miss Matteo and her husband not to have any more contact with Miss Matteo and not to come back to her residence. He did. Actually, when I was headed to meet with the magistrate on that incident, she called in a panic that he was at her house.
Okay, the very first one?
Yes, during the first arrest. So it was kind of his pattern that he would, when he wasn't making contact with her, when she wasn't answering his calls or whatever, he would go back to her residence. So when he called her on that Monday, that's what gave me alarm that he was going to go to her house.
And he had done that before, and that's why he was on probation.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So what did you do after that regarding, you said you spoke to the DA, then what did you do?
I got another warrant.
Okay. And when was it that you asked for the location ping?
After speaking to the DA.
And can you walk me through that process? What did you do?
The process of getting the phone ping?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, I contacted Central Dispatch and explained I needed a location ping on the phone due to him being a risk to him being a risk to her safety.
Okay. Did it give you an exact location? What exactly is returned to you from a phone ping?
It's just the lat and long, and it does a radius, and it's in meters. It's not their exact location. It's I guess you would say an estimated location based on the cell phone towers.
Okay, and when you got that information, did you actually arrest Mr. Sheets?
I did not.
Who did?
THP.
How did THP get that information?
Because when we got the first phone ping, Central Dispatch put it out to the county because the first ping put him in the county. And I'm assuming they gave that information, they sent it out to county and THP because THP works the interstate a lot.
So it was a be on the lookout for someone.
Correct.
Would you guys say you were in pursuit of him?
I would say we needed to get him in custody, yes.
Did you feel that it was important to get him in custody as soon as possible?
Yes,
Why?
because he was a direct threat to her safety.
Now, they've talked about, just to go ahead, I want to ask a couple questions before we get into it with the defense. Once he was arrested, what actual evidence was gathered once he was arrested?
Like, what do you mean?
Did you, I know you weren't there, but are you aware, and if you don't know, you can say you don't know.
Yes, ma'am.
Do you, what actual physical evidence as part of this case was collected after his arrest?
There, I don't recall exactly
Okay.
what all was collected. When he got arrested, THP did an inventory of the vehicle, and I asked if there was any gifts in the vehicle because that, in the prior case, that was one of the things that we located in his vehicle, and they said that there were Victoria's Secret gift bags.
Okay, but, and then what did you do regarding the other contents of the vehicle?
I got a search warrant.
Okay, so you did ask for a search warrant, you got, a search warrant was issued, and then you went back and executed that search warrant on the vehicle?
Correct.
Right. What evidence was collected pursuant to that search warrant?
His cell phone, there was wedding rings. I can't remember. There was lingerie. I'd have to refer back to the evidence, but there was a lot of Victoria's Secret's lingerie and different things that was found.
Your Honor, I have no other questions.
Mr. Talbot, do you have questions?
On August 5, was that a Thursday?
I believe it was a Monday.
August 5 was?
I believe so. I'd have to look at the calendar, but I believe it was Monday.
You would defer to the calendar?
Do you want me to look at my calendar?
Sure.
August 5th was a Monday.
And then on August 5th, where was the alleged victim?
She was in Dixon.
Was she at her home?
I'm not sure.
But she was in Dixon somewhere?
Yes.
Okay. How do you know that she was in Dixon?
Because she told me she was in Dixon.
And I guess you were in, was it fair to say you were in contact with her throughout the day on August 5th?
Yes. And I do believe she was at her home, but I can't say for absolute certainty. I believe she was there, though.
Had she mentioned to you that she was at her home?
That's what I'm saying. I believe she was near her home or heading home. I know she has children that she had to take to school and different things, but I do believe she was at her home throughout the day.
Okay. And was there something she told you on the 5th when she said that Mr. Sheets had called or tried to call her? Was there something she said he said to her that day?
I don't believe she answered the phone that day.
So on the 5th, the only contact from Mr. Sheets to her was him calling her and her not answering.
Correct.
And then she told you that he had called her.
Correct.
So did you had said that Officer Pulley in the days prior had sworn out a warrant to charge Mr. Sheets with stalking occurring on August 1.
From the incident on August 1st, I believe.
So I guess I would ask you, why not go and obtain the ping of the defendant's cell phone on August 1?
Well, because we knew he was in Florida. He was with law enforcement. I was speaking to the law enforcement officer that he was speaking to.
Okay.
So I knew where he was at
knew
that
where he
point.
was. Okay. And what did you learn by August 5th that changed your opinion about Mr. Sheets' whereabouts?
That his vehicle was no longer where it was. It had been, I believe it was 3 days at this point, and he had told law enforcement that he was getting married to her in Nashville.
You said he told law enforcement that he was getting married to her in Nashville.
That they were getting married, yes.
Okay, and that was a report that you got from whom?
I'm sorry, do what?
Who did you hear that from?
The law enforcement officers in Lake County, Florida.
Okay. Did you talk to somebody directly there?
I did.
Do you remember the name of the
Officer
officer?
Shelby Smith, I believe it's her name, or deputy.
And that's a deputy in Lake County, Florida?
Correct.
And that deputy told you that Mr. Sheets' vehicle was no longer where it was previously located?
That's what I told her. I don't remember if she told me that directly or if I called dispatch and asked them to send another officer out. I don't recall that information, but I did get told that the vehicle was no longer there.
So is that the fact that made you decide that a ping of the defendant's cell phone location was necessary?
No, like I explained to you, explained to her on the first case, after not being able to contact her, he went to her house, which is where he was leaving from when I pulled him over and arrested him.
Well, sure, but wasn't that true on August 1st?
No, he was in Florida on August 1st.
But he was still contacting her, correct?
He contacted her, which is why a warrant was sworn out. However, he was in Florida, and when the warrant was sworn out, I contacted Lake County, Florida again and advised them that he had a warrant, which is when I believe they had went back and said the vehicle was no longer there.
Did Mr. Sheets hurt Ms. Matteo before in the first case that he was on probation for stalking?
No, thank God.
Did he threaten her?
Did he threaten her? I mean, it was a direct threat to her, yes.
How so?
She is married with children. She knows Mr. Sheets from being friends with his wife. He shows up randomly at her house, gets told to leave, is told multiple times by law enforcement not to go back, not to contact her anymore. He has total disregard for anything law enforcement or Miss Matteo says, and then heads back to her house.
Did he make any kind of threats to do her harm?
I don't think no. Not to me.
Did Ms. Matteo tell you that he had threatened to hurt her?
Miss Matteo has stated multiple times that she is terrorized and she is very afraid for her safety and her children's safety.
Did Ms. Matteo tell you that he made a verbal threat to her?
I don't think he made a verbal threat to her. I don't think with stalking you have to make a verbal threat. Actually, I know you don't have to make a verbal threat with stalking statute.
So you agree he hasn't actually physically harmed her and he hasn't made threats to physically harm her either? You would agree with that?
Hasn't made threats to harm her, no.
And he hasn't physically harmed her either, right?
No, because that would be assault at that point. This is stalking.
Did you see any of the text messages that Mr. Sheets supposedly sent to Ms. Matteo in this August 1 to August 5 timeframe?
I did. She sent them to me.
What did they say?
One, I believe, said, Christine, are you picking me up at the Circle K? I'd have to refer back to them to tell you exactly what the other one said.
So these messages don't say that he's going to go to her, though, do they?
Not that I recall.
In fact, the message you do recall says he's asking her to come pick him up. Is that right?
Correct.
Did you have any belief about where Mr. Sheets was located once after you found out that his vehicle was no longer where it was in Florida?
I believed that he would be coming to make contact with Miss Matteo.
You're an experienced police officer, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, and you've got I guess you've got a patch that says FTO.
Yes, sir.
Okay, what does that mean?
Field training officer.
Okay. Do you lead police officers?
Do I what?
Do you lead police officers?
I train new hires.
And on this at this August 1 to August 5th timeframe, did you send any officers to Ms. Matteo's house?
I believe there was a BOLO sent out or a frequent patrol, as we call it, for her residence.
Okay. Are you aware that there were officers at her house who were armed with rifles and standing outside her home?
When was that?
I believe that would be August 5th. Are you aware of that?
I believe that was after the phone ping was done, and that was my shift.
Now, would you agree that it would have been reasonable and appropriate for officers to go to where the alleged victim is and ensure that she's safe?
Say it again?
Yeah, so if you think someone's in danger, one could, as a police officer, send police officers to where the victim is, the alleged victim, and make sure that she's safe.
Correct.
Officers are able to do that, right? Okay. Is there any reason why, let me ask you this, did you consider just having officers go guard Miss Matteo?
Well, the issue is there's only so many officers in the city of Dixon on patrol at a certain time. We can't necessarily just go sit for an extended time ensuring that the safety of the victim is, that she's safe from somebody. I mean, that's not necessarily reasonable for an extended time. Yes, we can do frequent patrols, but sitting there 24/7 isn't reasonable.
Did you think you didn't have enough time to go apply for a search warrant to get the defendant's cell phone location information?
Like I explained, I felt that it was exigent. I felt that for her safety, it was exigent.
Right. Was it based on any kind of time issue, or is it just based on the gravity of the threat of harm to the alleged victim that you perceived?
I mean, timing is everything when there's a direct threat, yes.
So did you think you did not have time to get a search warrant?
I'm not sure.
Did you think about whether you had enough time to get a search warrant?
I just thought in that moment, we needed to get his location so to ensure the safety of the victim.
So you didn't even think about the timing of getting a search warrant?
I don't recall if I thought about that or not.
All right. No further questions, Your Honor.
Redirect. Thank you, officer. You may step down. General Silva, you have any other witnesses? State has rested their proof on the issue of your motion. Do you wish to offer any proof, Mr. Talbot? And I'll hear you an argument.
Honor, first to start out, after hearing testimony, Mr. Sheets was on probation, so I would bring up that he doesn't have standing to bring a constitutional challenge to whether or not the ping violated his constitutional rights. As someone who's on probation, he's signed up for warrantless seizures and stops by police officers. He was currently and actively on probation, so I have that he doesn't have standing to even bring up an argument that this was a warrantless search of his location through a cell phone ping. But just to humor and go on from there, exceptions to the search warrant would be and would be shown as there's an imminent danger to an individual or the public. In stalking cases in particular, there is a history and disregard for court orders to stay away and vacate from someone. Those actions can easily go from just a phone call to imminent peril and danger to an individual that is a victim of stalking. Those cases are unique in that aspect, in that how they can escalate very quickly. So there was an imminent danger to Ms. Matteo, in which the officer was able to articulate. The other thing is that there was an active warrant, and another exception to a warrantless search and a cell phone ping would be if they were in active pursuit of someone. He had an active warrant that had been sworn out. He had a bolo put out for his vehicle and things like that. They were in active pursuit to issue a warrant or to serve a warrant that had been issued for Mr. Sheets. On top of the imminent danger that was there, they were in active pursuit of him, which is also an exception to the necessity for a warrant for a cell phone ping. The next couple things that we have is the amount of things on the defendant's motion to suppress regarding a lot of the items that were seized. Some of the items in which they're seeking to have seized were obtained legally through a search warrant and should not even be included in any of the considerations to be suppressed by the court.
Talbot?
Regarding the defendant's standing as it relates to his status on probation, what would govern that would probably be the probation order that sets out what the defendant's diminished privacy interest actually is. So whether he had given up this particular right would be, or that it's diminished in any way, would be in the probation order. So I would ask the court to refer to that to see whether he did in fact have a diminished privacy interest in his cell phone location information. Also, in the alternative, if the court would allow me to brief this issue, which has just been brought to my attention for the first time today, I would like an opportunity to look into that standing issue and respond with some research, if the court would allow that. But moving on to the issue at hand as far as
Mr. Sheets' case set for trial?
It is, Your Honor, set for January 14th. Yes, sir. With respect to the suppression issue, Your Honor, this warrantless search, exigent circumstances, according to authority, lost my place here. All right. But basically, Your Honor, in order to show exigent circumstances, the police would have to show that there was not time to get a warrant. And what we heard today was that the police didn't consider whether there even was time to get a warrant or not. That would justify the exigency of foregoing the warrant requirement and then just going straight to pinging the defendant's cell phone for location information. On that basis, no exigent circumstances has been shown. There was ample opportunity for law enforcement with, assuming a good faith concern for the safety of the victim, there was ample opportunity for them to send officers to the victim's residence and the alleged victim's residence and protect her during the time that it would take to get a warrant issued. That could have easily been done. No reason to believe that it couldn't have been done. And instead, as a matter of convenience, law enforcement chose to ping the defendant's cell phone without considering even applying for a search warrant. And that is in violation of the defendant's Fourth Amendment rights. We submit that the police would have had plenty of time to get a warrant by sending law enforcement to protect the alleged victim based on any supposed concern while applying for the warrant. And in fact, they did send law enforcement, 2 to 3 officers to the alleged victim's residence to provide her safety based on the concerns that law enforcement had. Regarding the items that must be suppressed, it was through obtaining the defendant's location information that the trooper was able to stop the defendant and stop him with his vehicle, and then that thereby commenced law enforcement's interaction with the defendant and allowed the seizure of all of the items enumerated in the motion. So they are all fruits of the warrantless search of the defendant's cell phone location information. Based on that, Your Honor, we ask that the court suppress the fruits of this warrantless search of the defendant's cell phone information, as the state has not shown that there were exigent circumstances that prevented them from obtaining a search warrant, while also ensuring the safety of the alleged victim based on their concerns. Thank you.
Talbot has requested time to brief the issue of whether or not the defendant being on probation waived his issue of constitutional right to resist the search. My belief is that a person who is placed on probation, even in General Sessions Court, I take judicial knowledge that typically a probationer is one who consents to the order of probation, and as a result of that, probation officer has the right to request drug testing, has the right to do certain things that would otherwise require a warrant, and that person waives the right to resist that as a basis for them being on probation. So I'm going to grant Mr. Talbot's request to brief the issue, since I think you have submitted some authority on behalf of both sides have submitted some authority. This issue now is before the court on the issue of whether or not there is a warrantless search, even to be contested, the warrantless search to be contested if in fact the defendant was on probation, and whether or not that waived that issue. So I'll give you need 15 days. Would that be sufficient time? Let's give the defense 15 days, and the state will have 15 days thereafter. And if you'll send those directly to me so that I can ensure you file them with the clerk, but also copy me on your filing so that I can have them and get started on my opinion. And I'll give you an opinion, hopefully, as soon as I'm able to review both of your filings. All right.